Hey, yo, what it did, y'all? Let's get right into it. I gotta talk to y'all because I was on stream last night and I was reminded of the fact, yet again, that PoE does not have racing events in it anymore. And it got me hot because I'm just, streaming, chilling, talking with chat. You can find out about that in the description, right? And we are talking about the fact that I'm practicing in Torchlight, which is a little strange because if you've heard of Torchlight Infinite, you know anything about it, you know that the game, while being mathematically rigorous and whatnot, is not a particularly hard game. So why am I practicing? The campaign is like quick and everything in that game. Why are we practicing? But I'm practicing because there's a boss kill event, right? Every season in Torchlight Infinite, they run a boss kill event in Trade, Hardcore, Trade, SSF, and Hardcore SSF for people to kill their equivalent of Eater Exarch first for their class. Every league. That's gas, right? Like, that's awesome. And talking about it, right, on stream, it was one of those moments where I was like, man, why does PoE not have this? And it's not the first time that I've said this thought. I've thought it for a long time that PoE needs more competitive outlets, right? It's why I think that community events like BPL, like the Gauntlet, Havoc's Team Blast from back in the day, even stuff like the bingo leagues in the past, right? All of these things serve the same goal of trying to give the community something to compete for, because we're gamers. We don't sit around and stare at spreadsheets all day not to get a little competitive about our understanding of spreadsheets and layouts and nonsense, right? Like, all of these things we do because we want that edge over somebody, right? People literally do like practices to level faster in Trade so that they can make more money. It's not even about like a ladder. It's not even about, a reward. It's not like you're getting a Starforge PC in the mail for being the first one to match in softcore Trade. And yet people still do it because it makes them more money. We are naturally competitive in this space. Why do we just not get that outlet? And they've talked about it, about how they want to bring back races. And my concern, my frustration, better yet, not just a concern, but more so my frustration, is that I feel like they're trying to make it this big, like, triumphant return to racing, when I don't think it needs to be that large, right? Like, we could just get a boss kill event every league. Maybe the rewards are not that massive because the bosses themselves are not new, right? Maybe it's just something light. Like, you just quick little 7 Ubers race, or 7 bosses race, whatever. Something light. Get a mystery box if you place high, whatever, right? I think that's perfectly fine. It's more about the structure being there in the first place. And more importantly, supporting all fucking ways of playing the game. I've been an avid statement of this for a long time, which is that I do not like the fact that the racing in PoE 1 has been so heavily isolated to hardcore SSF, at least in terms of things that involve boss kills, right? Like, we get the level races, right? When you look at like the level ladder in game, or you look at, say, stuff like Endless Delve. Endless Delve actually had its own win condition, which is why I liked it more than, say, Deli Everywhere, which the only win condition, quote unquote, in Deli Everywhere is first 100. I don't like that that's all that we get in softcore for anything competitive in the game. Give us boss kill events as well. Like, that's the thing that we also like competing to. Sure, we're not as good or as sweaty or as willing to abuse logout macros as hardcore players are, but there's still like a level of competition that can be nourished there, right? You can foster more competitive spirits at once. You can sharpen the iron of your community better. You can give people something to watch, because the reality is that even as people who don't want to compete in these races, right, it's still something to watch. Why not just be there more to watch? Why not do this every league? That's why I like it in Torchlight so much, because they literally do it every league. Divine Exile has been a thing since I started playing the game, and I don't think they're going to take it out anytime soon, because it's actually just something cool to race for. Now, this goes one level deeper, right? Because it's not just that this rant anyways on stream, but not just cover about the fact that they let us go get real competitive for a little bit, get a little extra rewards. It's about the ongoing commitment to, I guess what I'll call like database flexing. Database flexing is one of my favorite terms recently. It's a great idea, but it just means that like flexing on people, but with the numbers to back it up, right? Like you talk about like the Divine Exile kill ladder, right? That's going to cement you as a number one for quite some time. You're going to look at that and it's going to be like, yep, that number one, that's me. Flex with it, right? Or, you know, your first 100, much like in PoE, you could slash ladder, you see first 100, it's that person. Yeah, that's me, right? You already know who it is. You go one step further though, because those are things that are kind of easily replicable in PoE. But for even like end game stuff, there's these two modes. There's a it's called Supreme Showdown, which is a series of souped up bosses that are meant to be like really high end damage checks to give you a count progression at the end of it. And that has a ladder for like how high people have gotten through it on each class and the first person to do it. You see where I'm going with this? First person to do it, or you can see fastest person to do it in terms of their kill time on the boss. And then when you click on the person, you can see their character. You can just immediately go and be like, what do you got here? Now, of course, like PoE, they can private their profile so they can't see, but most people don't. So you're playing a character, you're walled up like 2-3 levels behind the number one. You just go look and see what they're doing. Now, not only have you given something to compete for, something to aspire towards, but you've also now given me a way to look at what other people are doing, which even fucking Diablo 3 had this idea, and it's why Diablo 4 got flamed so hard for not having this in its game, right? The ability to actually look and be like, hey, look what that person did. Look how they're doing what I'm trying to do. Is so core. It's so core. We need that functionality in these games. That's just another level of why I value this so highly, right? We can go one step further with it too, right? Because the reality is that it's not just about, you know, you want rewards. No, not really. I participate in various PoE racing events like throughout the season, right? That's just a part of the league for me. It's one of the only times that I get to really experience the progression in the game, especially with the pace of league releases slowing down. If we're just going to call it what it is for a second, right? Like that pacing reducing is not my favorite, but you know, at least participating in these community events every so often gives me a way to scratch that itch a little bit, right? Or, you know, the lack of a ladder for it. But really, all of this comes back around to this thought that I said earlier, where it's like GGG has mentioned that they want to bring back race leagues. But I feel like we've heard that one before. I feel like we've heard them say that many times in the past, and it's not to rag on them. It's not to make it sound like it's like it's this ridiculously easy task that they should be able to do overnight by just flipping a switch or anything. But I don't know. I think of it a lot like when I was told, when, you know, you tell somebody like, I want to do better. I want to do better. I want to change for you, whatever. And you just kind of watch as nothing ever actually changes. It begins to make me a little cynical, the same way that I said a while ago when it was like, yeah, we want to eventually get back to our 3-month league release cycle, right? And if you look at the state of PoE run right now, it hasn't been there for a while. I feel like we've heard the rigmarole about wanting to return back to racing events in PoE for a long time. And well, hearing is cool and all, but I'm a fan of seeing. I'm a fan of experiencing. And that's what like really brought me into this whole rant in the first place. It's just the fact that it kind of bothers me that something that I would say has been so core to the space for years has just not been in PoE, right? Because the GR ladder has existed in Diablo 3 forever. I'm still mad at Diablo 4 for not having its own ladder for the pit, right? Like why there's no like proper ladder in game for that, even though they had one in Diablo 3, is crazy to me. Last Epoch even rushed to get a ladder into their game because they realized that that's a thing that people want. Give us the bossing events. We know you have them. We know that you have the ability to do it. We've seen you trace boss kills down, right? It's not like it's impossible for GG to track boss kills. They have this data. It's just, granted, again, they're trying to get a lot done. In these past few years, they've been busy with PoE 2 and all that. Yeah, blah, 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 blah. But why couldn't this have even been in like PoE 2, right? That could have been like an arbiter kill time ladder, or, you know, like a ladder for fastest runs in Trial of the Second, for example. There's all sorts of opportunity to promote healthy competition between players and a lot of these iron sharpened iron environments in the game. And that's what I really like about these competitive environments. Anywho, that's a lot from me. Let me know if you're not a fan of iron sharpening iron, because I think that's stupid, but hey. But hey, I know that's not for everybody, right? Me personally, I felt passionate enough to make a video about it after ranting about it on stream and after stream last night to my friends, right? It's something that I've always felt passionate about, and it gives me something to talk about in this period where we're still waiting on PoE 2 updates. I don't know if you guys saw, by the way, they did announce that they are, you know, back in the office working on some like light bug fixes and whatnot. So hopefully we'll get a patch this week that might at least just hit some of the major bugs in the game. I know they've already hit the duping bugs, and then maybe next week we'll get like a real patch, and we'll actually see if the game has shook up enough for it to like really matter. If you enjoyed watching this far, let me know. Also, if you want to see me, you know, live or anything, Twitch, Discord in the description. Plus, if you come out of Twitch this weekend, you can come check out the Torchlight Infinite season, including there's apparently drops for the event, like for the first weekend of the event of the league. So if you play Torchlight Infinite, come check it out. Or maybe if you're thinking about trying it, come check it out, right? Maybe you just like see what it's about or whatever. Who the fuck knows? Thank y'all for checking it out, and I will see y'all in the next one. Peace.